What's going on, everyone? We are back yet again to talk another season, another fire cast. This season is Sahara, Dunes, and I am so excited to talk about them. I am Lauren. I am here with Denny. I'm here with McKenna. We're bringing in some heavy hitters to talk about all these cast members. You're going to see people from past seasons. You're going to see people from production talking about everybody. It's going to be great. So let's just dive right in to our first cast member. Our first cast member on the season. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to go with it on the script. Hurricane Sherry coming in hot at 54 years old and is a principal high from hell.
She is fiery. Yes. And this woman means business. She's not just going to come in and fly under the radar. So I think she's going to be looking to, build an alliance right away, make some big moves. That scares me a little bit because I know she has a ton of org experience. Lauren, she's placed first before, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's a winner.
I know she has what it takes to get to the end and win. I just don't want her to be too over the top because I feel like she can be. I mean, this woman, she is very fiery.
Anyone that pulls out a cigarette mid-interview is, earns a spot immediately on this cast. I'll talk about Sherry a little bit. I know Sherry from watching her play on a game that I participated in, Zoomvivor, and she is really good at getting people in an alliance. The only issue is sometimes she underestimates people, and that's what did her dirty in the game. Someone, got the best of her. But don't get it twisted about Sherry. She doesn't make the same mistake twice. So I think coming into another mini, because I believe that was the first time she played in a mini format. So I think this one, she's going to come in more prepared, not underestimate anyone, and really come own it, and is going to be here to win. She's also going to deliver in confessionals, which we need. I think her only downfall is if people just don't get her personality, don't get who she is, that could really hurt her. But other than that, I think she is going to get in an alliance fast and corral the troops. And then they might say, we're going to use her as a shield and then turn on her later on. But I don't think she's going to go first.
And Lauren, how is she with challenges?
She's good at challenges.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a strong challenge contender.
I think she's definitely a lover or hater kind of person where it's like, if she gets on a tribe with people that love that personality, that outgoing, kind of abrasive personality, then she's good. But then if she has the people that are more laid back, more chill, then they might look to her as like, you're being really loud right now. This is just easy to get rid of you. So it all depends on tribe dynamics, I think, for her. Now, we also saw Bill last till Final Four. There is that age difference where we saw my mom Caroline go second. So it doesn't necessarily impact, but it might. Who knows?
I don't think she's going to be someone because of her age that would go out quickly, because she is that self-aware, knowing that I need to get in quickly. I think sometimes what you see with some older people, they just don't get into alliance fast, but she's experienced, and I think she's going to do that. Also, she can be very motivating in challenges, like rooting for people that are on her tribe. So she's not going to be the motherly role at all, can promise you that. But at the same time, I would align with her because I think she's fun. I think she's great. But as you said, it depends on who's on her tribe. If she's with laid back people, they might not know how to navigate Sherry. They might be like, oh, she's a bit much.
Yeah, she is a chatty Cathy, and she seems kind of in your face. She said that she can cover that up well. So I'm curious to see if she really can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise I do think she could have an early target, and I don't want to see it because I do think she is such a character. Mm-hmm. Very, very spunky, full of energy. 20-year-old and a 54-year-old body.
Oh, yeah. I think biggest wild card on the season for sure, because she very well could be first boot, but she very well could make it to the end or go out of that merge part. So she's got, all bases covered. We'll see.
I do want to say during the interview though, her eye contact wasn't the greatest. And if I'm if I'm chatting with someone and their eye contact isn't there, I'm immediately gonna wonder if I can trust them. McKenna.
No, the real question is, can McKenna trust you? And it's probably
Yeah, that's the real question.
Everyone can trust me.
no,
But
absolutely.
she's definitely a social butterfly. I think she's not gonna have it. She's not gonna be the one sitting there waiting for someone else to strike up conversation.
No. No, but we'll see what happens with Sherry. I think we're all excited to see how it works for her. And with that, we're going to move on to our next person, Matt. Matt is 35 years old, is a K-8 drama teacher, and also a performer. So we got a live action person coming on this cast.
Celestina from season 3. She posted our application out because she loved playing in our game. She's a friend of ours and posted our application out. Matt found it through Celestina.
Yeah, Matt is great. I loved watching his interview. He's adorable. He seems fun. He said that his strength is he's very social. His weakness is that he can lie, but people might know that he's lying, which is weird to me because isn't he a drama teacher?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to be able to put on those acting skills.
Like, if you're a drama teacher, I would think that you can lie, no problem. No one's going to be able to read it on your face. I've said this in cast assessments before. I love seeing people actually be able to put on a show and act, and I want to see this with him. I really like him. So I want to see him go far. Yeah, I want to see who he aligns with. I think he's trustworthy. I think people are going to trust him and want to work with him. I definitely see him making the merge.
I think he's going to align with some of the young bucks on the season. He has experience, and that's the other thing. If you have experience and you figure out that someone doesn't have experience, he seems to me as the type of person, all right, I'm going to take them under my wing, show them the ropes on the season, and then, cut them if I have to.
And he says the Survivor player who he thinks he'll play like is a combination of Vesepia and Sandra, and those are two very different players. More under the radar, quiet, and then loud and in your face. So I guess he's trying to take the best of both worlds and smash it into his game, but we'll see.
I want to see. I can get loud too from him.
Yeah.
He's very happy-go-lucky though. It's going to be fun to watch him play. I think people will be drawn to him because of his positive energy. When you asked him what animal he would play like, he said a Pomeranian. That he's peppy but knows when to shut up. And I'm like, I don't know any Pomeranians that know when to shut up. But yeah, I think he's going to be a blast to watch and a blast to play with for the people who are aligned with him.
Any person who loves Cook Islands is a friend of mine, so I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, I'm excited for Matt. I think that he's going to bring a lot of energy to the table, but this is an energetic cast, and that's the only issue. If you have too many similar personalities, yes, we have opposing personalities to that, but you could see all the energetic folks on one side, all the laid back people on another, and then just get that crash right in the middle. So it's going to be fun to see how the dynamics form.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are now going to transition to our first guest.
All right. We are now bringing in Morgan to talk about our next contestant. This guy's name is Landon. He is 24 years old and a public accountant.
Yeah, so I met Landon this summer at a live game that we played together called Survival Challenge. He and I ended up on the same tribe, and although my life in the game did not last long, he was definitely the person that I considered my closest ally in the game. I got to watch him play throughout the rest of the weekend, and he made it to 5th place in a very competitive, cutthroat game. So I think he's going to bring a lot to the table for us here in this mini. I'm really excited to watch him play in this short format. he's somebody who will like bring the fire. He's not gonna just like lay low and let people play and just follow along. He's gonna take charge, and he's not afraid to call people out either. So I'm pretty excited.
I'm a huge Landon fan. I actually watched y'all's entire season, and I think he's going to be someone, if he knows that he's in trouble, he's going to fight for his spot in the game and try and flip the vote on somebody else. I have high hopes for him. I think if he gets in a good alliance, he seems really loyal and trustworthy to his people. I think he could go very far into this game. He just has to get in that prime alliance in order to get further.
I'm super excited about him as well. I think that he's going to be a bit tired when the game starts because he's on the West Coast, but I think that'll be perfect because he won't be like too in your face right away. And then as other people are starting to tire out, he's just going to be waking up. I'm a little bit concerned, just a little, because of the pilot passenger question that we asked. He said that he's the one riding shotgun holding the map. And when the driver crashes and gets voted out, he's going to replace them with someone from the back seat. So I was a bit surprised he didn't say he's going to take the seat. He's going to put someone from the back seat in that seat. I don't want him to like, I don't know. I feel like he could be too splashy. And I don't, like Morgan, he said he's not going to be afraid. I don't want him to like come in a guns a-blazing like too fast. I think he's very likable. I think people will want to work with him. So like you said, Lauren, just finding the right alliance members to work with. And I think he could just slide right into the merge and then make some big moves.
Yeah, and I think he said he placed 5th in that live game. Morgan, your recruits, Jim, he placed 6th. So, I mean, we're looking at a high placement, I think, for Landon here. So I'm excited to watch him play.
I will say, I think the only spot he could get in trouble is if he gets to the merge. I think people might start targeting him as being a threat to maybe win challenges, even though our challenges are complete crapshoots. You never know what you're going to be good at, never know what you're going to be bad at. But I think for him, he just needs to make sure that he is not like the top dog and just kind of somewhere in the middle trying to make his move once he like finds his correct footing. Because I think if he takes shots early on, he's going to come across as a big threat.
Yeah, but I think overall, Landon will for sure wind up in the merge. Hopefully a higher placement, but who knows?
He's going all the way.
All the way? Winner pick?
I think he is too.
All right. We'll see. All right. With that, we are going to move on to our next person.
Alrighty, we have Jon coming on in to talk about our next 2 cast members. The first cast member that we are going to be speaking about with Jon is Maddie. Maddie is 27 years old and an enterprise transformation analyst.
Not quite sure what that is.
You know what? I've known Maddie for 27 years, as I should, with her being my sister. And I don't know what that is. But what I do know is that Maddie has the exact type of personality you're looking for to succeed in this game. She's a go-getter. She's so driven in everything she does. But she's so driven to the point where she doesn't accept mediocrity in what she does. And that could honestly be one of her strongest downfalls in this game.
She seems super sweet, and I don't think she's going to create a target too early. I just worry about her because based off of her interview, she seems to overthink everything. And during a mini, you have to be really, really quick on your feet. So I do worry about her getting caught in her head and not just being present in the game.
Sorry, Jon, go.
I totally get that, because Maddie does, like I said, she's a perfectionist when it comes to this type of thing, and she does take her time to think things through. But that doesn't mean that she's going to have like decision paralysis. It just means that she might regret a decision further down the line because she didn't get enough time to think it through.
Well, I mean, I've been on some calls with Maddie. We've watched some TV shows together. We've played some games, and she's got like a smile and a personality that will draw you in. So I feel like she would be very good at making those connections where if she needs some help for strategy, she won't have that person automatically turn on her. I think she could make some very good connections.
Well, she also describes herself as gritty and witty, which that can work well for you if you know when to be witty and when to be gritty, because if you sometimes, jump the gun with a couple of people, that might not work in your favor. But what I will say is she is a newbie, so we also have to take that into account. These games move quickly, so it's whether she's able to jump right in, get into an alliance quickly, or she's too nice, because I think she's super nice and just kind of let people dictate decisions. I think that's the only issue she could run into, is if she doesn't get into an alliance quick. But what she does know, because she's seen Jon play before, that Jon works at a fast pace himself and gets into an alliance fast, so she might just be able to take the reins from what Jon has done in his previous games.
Yeah, don't let Maddie's smile trick you either. She is ruthless, as she needs to be in the world of business where she works. She is ruthless, and she is not the type of person who's just going to be like, oh yeah, like take the reins, go ahead. She'll let you do that, but she will slit your throat when she needs to get ahead.
That's what I want to see from her, because Jon, when you asked her during her interview, like what would make her stand out from the rest of the cast, she was like, well, that's really hard to say without knowing them. And I'm like, girl, sell yourself. Like, you're a badass, just say it. And I want to see that from her. I want to see her just come in, be strong. Like, I do think she's going to fly under the radar early, which will be great for her. And then I want to see her like really hit the gas.
Yeah, I think she has this great ability of connecting with people early. She's a really pleasant person to speak with. And she also has moments where she can come off incredibly naive, yet she's so smart. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met. And she still has these moments where once we were sitting down watching the Titanic and she asked what the name of the boat was. And it's those type of moments that's going to make her so easy to get along with in the game. And it's going to make it so that people underestimate how smart she really is.
Well, everyone knows I'm all here for badass bitches. So I hope we see that out of her. And I think if she can bring some of that little edgy side of her and make it known that here, I'm here to play, I think she's going to do okay. I don't think she's going to win the game, but I do think that she has potential to go far if she gets in the right alliance and kind of finds her footing in the game at the beginning.
All right, let's move on to our next person.
Oh, we got another great person on this cast. We are going to be talking about Mr. Sean, who's 29 years old and is a swim coach.
I'm so excited.
Sean's a very good friend of mine. We've known each other for quite a few years now. We met through the Magic the Gathering community up here in Victoria. And that's where I think a lot of Sean's strengths come from. Sean's an incredibly goofy guy. He's so easy to get along with because he's just so happy-go-lucky all the time. But this is a man who's dedicated the majority of his life to playing strategy-based card games. He's a thinker. He knows what he's doing. He can approach a situation, evaluate it, and then figure out what the best move is based on what he anticipates his opponents to be doing next.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Sean. Watching his interview was fun because he is funny. And just seeing him, I'm like, I want to be friends with this guy. So that's who you want to look for in an alliance member, someone that you want to be around and get to know. He said that the animal he'd play like is a raccoon because he would be a scavenger and be adorable. And I do think his personality is super adorable. I can't wait to see like who he aligns with. Yeah, I'm really interested to see him play. I think people like Jon, you said last night to us, don't sleep on Sean. And I do think that people in the game might sleep on him and then realize like, oh shoot, we should have taken him out when we could have.
Yeah, if if you're kind of trying to gauge Sean is also friends with Greg from mini season 2, Lalumanu Beach. And boy, was he a character as well. So I have high hopes for Sean. I'm really excited to see him play. After he got done with his interview, he was like one of my top guys that we had interviewed. So I'm just excited to see what he can do. Granted, he's only seen one season of Survivor, which, you know, isn't necessarily needed to play any of our games, but we'll see if he can find things like idols and advantages throughout.
I think he's going to rock the challenges too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strong challenge contender. But he also describes himself as like positive, patient, really fun. And I think that's really great in a cast member. I'm so excited for him because I think he's going to bring some fresh energy to the game. The only way I see him getting in trouble is those goofy people. If they're too goofy, too likable, no one wants to sit with them at the end, because if you can make a jury laugh and get them on your side to get the votes, people, that's too threatening for them. That's the only thing I think he could have trouble with in this game. Otherwise, I don't see him going early at all because he's going to get in good with people on his tribe.
I think he's smarter than that though.
I do too. I do personally know that. And he, as a swim coach and someone who works in childcare, essentially, Sean's used to dealing with children. So he's used to dealing with people and rephrasing things in a way to make them want to do things. And I think that's really going to benefit him in the game as well.
So we all like Sean. That's what I'm taking away from this. We all like Sean. So Sean, buddy, you got 4 people right here rooting for you hardcore. All right, we're bringing in another heavy hitter to talk about 2 more of our cast members on this season. Mr. Greg, come on in.
Hey everyone, what's up?
Hey Greg. All right, let's get to the first cast member that we're speaking with about, and that is Jon. Jon is 28 years old and is a musician.
Yeah, so Jon is a ball of energy, and it's really, really it's something that's, what's the word I'm looking for? Like infectious. You know, when you're around him, you're gonna also feel really good about talking with him. But I think, and he's explained it the same thing, is that all of his pros and his strengths are going to be his cons. He's a really good talker, very social, wants to focus on building relationships. He's funny, he's compelling. But I think in a game like this, people are going to be very worried about that. Mm-hmm. Because it's such a short, fast-paced game, loyalty isn't going to be as important as kind of thinking quick on your feet. And I think Jon can do that, but I'm wondering if other people are going to kind of have him picked out from the beginning as being a big threat to not let him get too far in the game. That's my concern with Jon. I think he's ball of energy. I think he's kind of going to come into the game hot. He's played the game before, other orgs. So hopefully he can learn from his past mistakes and maybe correct some of those. But that it could be, some of his strengths could be his downfall as well. So I'm curious to know what you all think about him.
Yeah, I can see that just based off the interview I watched with him. I'm rooting for him because he's a Pearl Jam fan. And he seems super fun, but he does talk a mile a minute. And I think that his voice could get him into trouble. So if he is able to sit back a little bit and not just come out and be the one always talking and leading conversations, that he'll fare better. So I hope that he can kind of simmer down just a little bit.
I think he might be better if maybe his tribe loses the first round, so they don't have that little bit to socialize where he can be that and talking and overexcited, where he could just like get to strategy, and if he makes his alliances, he's got his alliances and he's good to go.
Jon described himself, the animal that he picked during the interview was a golden retriever.
Oh yeah.
Golden retrievers are very, very cute. and very loving, but I will say he might be a little too sweet. I don't know if he can bring out the claws like you might have to. If he is someone that's on the bottom of the numbers, I think he might get pushed around potentially a little bit. I do think, though, if he is at the top, he might be very convincing to keep people on his side, to keep the numbers with him. So I think he has it working both sides. If he's on the bottom, I'm a little concerned, but if he's at the top, he might be doing quite well for himself.
Yeah, I agree. And he also mentioned that he's really competitive. So that's why I'm hoping that he's learned some lessons from playing these kinds of games before. And he also said that something that puts a target on him is him just smiling and kind of being friendly. So if he can turn that down a couple notches and just kind of break that out at the very end of the game to make to get the jury to want to vote for him at the end, I think he could do really well. I think he just really needs to control himself a little bit, because it could get him in trouble.
When asked if he is a passenger or a pilot, he said that he would hijack the plane, and when they're 60% of the way to the destination, he would turn the plane around and head to Vegas. So this guy wants to have fun.
Carrie will pick him up at the airport.
I'm a little worried about him.
Yeah. I feel like he
go to Vegas just yet.
I feel like there's risk with him either being like that last person right before the merge, or somewhere in the early merge that he gets taken out. I think if he gets to the end of the game, he might be able to sell his way to actually, to that final seat, one of those final seats. But he's going to have a really rough middle of the game, I think.
For sure. He's a compelling character that we're going to need to look out for. But I do agree. I think he could potentially be an early boot, just because I think people might view him as maybe a potential threat. But like I said, if he's able to get through those early merge votes and get further towards the end, he's might be sitting in the end. And I think he can pitch his case to win this game, because he's that compelling and that likable. And also to note, every production member that saw his interview wanted him on this cast. He was a strong favorite to get on this season.
I think he was the first interview, and I think he was kind of immediately, everyone was like, okay, yes.
Like this is the bar.
We are now going to transition on to our next person on this cast. That is Erik, 28 years old and a cyber risk underwriter.
Mm-hmm. I think Erik is very smart. He's very analytical. He's a huge super fan. He's not only has he watched all of the US seasons, but he's kind of cleared out the whole library of the international seasons as well. He knows his stuff. And during his interview, he went on a whole tangent about Sharn's game from Australian Survivor. So no spoilers about Australian Survivor, but he really knows his stuff. And I think that could be a huge benefit for him if he's a little bit more reserved, like compared to Jon, especially, like kind of night and day. He's kind of more calm, cool, and collected. So I think that he can sit back, watch things play out, and make decisions about when he's going to strike, rather than feeling that kind of urge to do something. He's going to think about things. He's going to process his decisions before just kind of jumping out there and doing it. He's not the golden retriever of this cast.
Well, he said he was a chameleon of this cast. So definitely not the golden retriever.
So like Greg said, he's a huge fan of the game. He said his weakness would be that he doesn't really know what to expect with this game. He's never done this before. And so I'm curious to see, how his wheels spin and what moves he can make and what he's looking out for. I do wonder who he's going to align with. I don't really have a good grasp on how he's going to play this game, but of course he doesn't either. But he does seem likable, very smart. I do wonder if he's going to be an overthinker.
And that's the thing too, being a newbie, you don't really necessarily have the experience from a previous game that you can look on and say, all right, I could have done this, I could have done that. So he's coming in fresh-faced. And also we've kind of talked about, we have really energetic people on the cast, and then we have some people that are kind of laid back. So it's going to be interesting to see where that chemistry is with people. Are the energetic people aligning with each other? Are the laid back people together? Or is there a mixture? So that's the biggest thing I'm looking for on this season, because we cast it really well with making sure we had diverse personalities.
And not to completely spoil season 3, if you have not watched season 3, but I'd call asterisks he hasn't played before because he watched and witnessed firsthand a winning game. His partner actually won our season 3. So maybe if he emulates their game, he could win himself.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tricky though, because they're very different personalities, just based on what we know, what we've seen before, and now what we know of Erik. Erik is a lot more quiet, and I think that could work to his benefit in the sense that he's very unassuming. I think looking at him, people aren't going to think that he's as smart as he is or as clued into the game as he is, and I think that could help him. But I also think the quiet person could become the threat, because if they're not sharing any kind of information or kind of making those connections with people, they might not know where he stands. And I think that people could get worried about that. He did say in his interview that he wants his ideal ally would be a challenge beast. And he thinks that that's someone who is very opposite of him. So if he can find that person, or find maybe another person or two who's like that, maybe he could slide by beneath them. He actually reminds me of someone else from season 3, where they were laid back and they kind of got pretty far in the game. And I don't think people thought that they had that chance to do it. So that could be Erik here. And then he would just need to kind of kick it into high gear right at the end.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Erik.
He wants to go to the end with someone who is very different from him, like you said, Greg. And I think that's obviously smart. He did say he wants to work with, people who are good at challenges, but not strategically threatening. So he wants to be he wants to be the brains of the operation, but not let that be known necessarily.
We'll see. Some people like to make it known that they are pretty intelligent.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Yeah, I was going to say, people are like, no, I'm smart. I know what I'm doing, but I'm worried for Erik. I think he goes pre-merge, but I've been wrong before, so we're gonna see what happens.
All right, thank you, Greg. On to our next person.
All right, we got an energetic person coming in from season 2 to talk about 2 more of our cast members. Shay, come on in.
My draft.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Let's go.
All right, are you ready to give your hot takes on 2 of these cast members?
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right, the first one we're going to be talking about is Daniel. Daniel is 27 years old and an engineering project manager, so super smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, okay, one of these things, immediately you meet him, you go threat. And that was the first take, right? Like good looking kid, like he's very well spoken, seems competitive. That being said, total newbie, right? Found you guys on TikTok. Didn't even know you guys were on TikTok, which is amazing. I got to get on Survivor TikTok, I guess.
One of our castaways from Exile Island, Mackenzie Newcomb, posted about us and how her experience in the game. So that's awesome. Probably the TikTok. We're not on TikTok, at least right now.
Well, either way, he found you, and I'm glad he did, because he definitely has a big brain and a big Survivor brain. Like he knows Survivor, you can tell. Like the way he wrote about things, he had very thoughtful answers in his interview around what his favorite tribes would be. The only thing is, I think he's going to get caught up with the speed of play. I think it's one of these things where, it's a hard thing to kind of describe, but if you're social, you get in right away with a group on that first tribe. You have your first vote, you vote somebody off. It's not you. You get Survivor bloodlust. And I have the feeling he could get that. I have the feeling like he could be like, I want to take a little more reins. I want to get that feeling again. I want that control. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like I'm a little worried for him as far as that goes. If he could be, if he can manage his threat level. That's the biggest one. I mean, that, and he seemed really excited. A lot of times, these minis move fast. Like, it is hard to describe, especially once you get towards merge. You've been going for 6 hours. It's still moving fast. To have the mental energy to recognize, when is a good time to make plays, what's going on, who do I need to be social with? I mean, I've fallen into that trap. I think many people have. Those sort of like newbie things I think could catch up to him. I mean, that's my take. But he does play saxophone, so he's a smooth operator.
And saxophone players have done well in our minis season 1. Urban.
Yeah.
Look, I like this guy already. As soon as I saw his interview, I knew I liked him. Just his excitement, and just he stated how grateful he would be to be able to partake in this experience. Like, that really touched me. And you mentioned how attractive he is. He really is. He just reminds me of the golden boy. And he said his weakness is going to be probably the Zoom format. What I'm worried about is that he wanted to come in and just have it be completely foreign to him. So when asked if he had watched other seasons, he's like, no, I really want the element of surprise. I don't know that that's smart. If it were me, I would watch everything I could.
Terrible idea. Yeah, somebody recommended to watch, and you got the immediate vibe that he's like, yeah, I'll do that. No, he ain't doing that.
Because the whole just pulling you directly from a conversation into confessional, that is jarring. And if he's not expecting that, we do give a little blurb at the beginning, but sort of. You don't know how impactful that could be. And Shay, you could probably speak the most to that.
Yeah, especially when you're popcorning around. There's 3, 4, 5 different rooms. If you're right at merge, you know what I mean? That quick thinking and understanding and being able to jump into conversations and recognizing what's happening. Handle that adjustment. There's a real, if you're not meant to prepare for that, there's a real burnout factor to it too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right on. I do like Daniel. I think his only issue is that I actually agree. He's not going to go back and watch these seasons. If he does, good for him. But really, you have to know the format of our game. Our game is very complicated. It's super, super fast paced. And as McKenna said, you get pulled for a confessional and you could be in a conversation and not get to talk to that person again before tribal council. So it's going to be interesting to see how he figures it out. I think he will, because he's very, very smart. And the only other thing I have on him is he held back a little bit for me in his interview. I want him to bring out his full-on personality. I think there's still something missing. And I think if he's able to bring that and deliver it, he's going to do quite well in this game.
Yeah, it's such a struggle, right? I think people watch Survivor and they see the 39 days and they see relationships develop. And in a longer org, that can happen. In a mini, you got to come out, you got to be personable, you got to win somebody over and get them on your side now, and then you can move on to some other people and start to get them on your side too. But you can't play a slow game.
No.
Yeah, my fear for him is that he's too quiet in the beginning.
Yep.
Because I do think he looks trustworthy. I do think people.
How does someone look trustworthy?
It's a smile. It's
I was gonna say, how does someone look trustworthy? I'm sorry.
I would want to work with him. But no, I just think he might be a little too quiet in the beginning. And if he is, and people are forming bonds with other people on their tribe, then he's going to get the boot.
Though he does say
that doesn't happen because of his excitement. I really want him to last.
Though he does say on his app, he wants to really stick with the group and socialize. He doesn't want to pull people aside, which could hurt, but it could help. So if he's in the majority, great. But if he's in the minority and just kind of sticking to one section of people, I think he really needs to try and find a group right off the bat.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make merge just because I think he's sociable and he seems nice enough, trustworthy enough to keep around. The issue is immediately after merge, you need somebody to be able to stick their neck out for you. You know what I mean? At some point, right? You need somebody to go, oh no, they're hearing this vote, but how about this other person instead of that person, right? Instead of Daniel, how about somebody else? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Maybe they're a bigger threat. I don't know if anybody would, he'd form the relationship to have that person to speak up for him to go, maybe somebody else other than Daniel.
Right. Yeah. Got to find your tight duo, tight alliance member and get in with them good right off the bat. But with that, I think we all agree Daniel has a really strong chance to do pretty well for himself in this game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially for a newbie, he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah. All right, with that, we're gonna talk about our next person. We have Alanis, 20 years old and a medical coder.
Yeah, Alanis. Okay, so another attractive person, younger person, right? Like can come in, probably have no problem making it to merge because they're personable, unless, you know what I mean, you get, swapped or something. But like the point is that, you could tell she came off very well. I found it very interesting. I mean, you guys know more than I do, I think, but her dad has a lot of experience playing. So I'm wondering, who knows? Is he going to give her like some tips, or is he just going to throw her in the deep end and see if she swims? But once, another person who knows Survivor. The thing was, though, through the interview, I didn't really get a good idea of her strategy. I didn't really feel like there was one. It was a lot of answers that if you read can make sense on its own. You put them together and you're like, here for a good time. You know what I mean? And that's what concerns me, right? Like there's one line in there that she had, I think in her, the write-up, that she wants to be a passenger until she needs to be the pilot. That sounds great. You know what that means? That means you're going to have people that are going to be behind you when you want to take control. That means that you need to know when to take control. I don't know if those things are going to, you know what I mean, if she has the skills to do that. I wouldn't be shocked. I've seen people that fit her profile win a lot of awards, right? But, it's once again, kind of newbies to the thing, right? Some newbies take to it. Some get chopped off real early due to inexperience. I mean, she's a hard one to judge for me, to be honest.
Jay, they gave you the models of this season.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah, Alanis.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good friends with her dad, and I know that they're both so excited. Like, he expressed to me just how excited and thrilled she is to play this game. They have bonded over Survivor for years. She's a huge fan. I'm just a little worried, and she is as well, because she said that although she's really good at creating connections with people, it's going to be hard for her to break those, and she may be too loyal in the game. And I could definitely see that. So if she doesn't know when to slice someone's throat, it's going to be hers getting sliced. So that's my concern with her. But I do think that people are going to like her, like talking to her. She does seem personable, not overly chatty, like maybe some other cast members we have that are just going to be really in your face and over the top. So I don't think she's going to be an early target. I do think she could make merge. It's just going to be about who she aligns herself with, and is she going to be able to make critical moves at the right times.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she does come off super trustworthy, though.
Yeah. I think people, even though she's inexperienced, I think people might keep her around because she's loyal and a vote. So like those people tend to just go far, and sometimes they wind up in the end and win. Like, your loyalty can very much be a huge asset. And like, why are we getting rid of her? She's my vote. Oh, she's my vote. I feel like she could be one of those people that skates by a vote, skates by a vote, skates by a vote.
All right, I'm going to go in a completely different direction than all three of you.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it, Lauren.
All right, here we go. We're going to start with this. I'm also really good friends with her dad. And here's the thing about her. She is a competitor. I have heard from Anthony how badly she wants to play this. And I think when she gets in there, gets her feet wet a little bit, I think she's going to make some cutthroat moves. Once she gets there, she comes across to me as someone that wants to win, is super competitive. So I think, yes, she'll be loyal to her people, but when she figures out those people are maybe potentially turning on her, she's gonna have no problem slitting their throat. I actually think people could be sleeping on her a tad bit. I'm looking forward to seeing her play because I do think she has a cutthroat side that we haven't seen yet. And I think during her interview, she was a tad bit nervous, but once she gets into this game and sees all the people out there, I have high hopes for her.
Yeah, I mean, like she'll have no problem getting allies. She has an understanding of Survivor, and if, especially if she has some knowledge, a little bit of around orgs at least, that she kind of has an understanding of how it works. I think that the biggest thing is will she be able to be aggressive enough to pull the trigger on something that's big, right? Like, will she build a resume? Because
she wants to win.
She could be a shoe-in second place, right? She could be a shoe-in second place that you don't need to get rid of, always looks nice, everybody likes, but like at the end of the game, own your moves. What moves did you make? You know? If she makes any moves at all, first place.
Yeah, she did say she hates watching the show and just seeing boring people who don't strike when they should. So, but she also said she thinks she's going to be too loyal.
That's because she was nervous. Get rid of the interview. Take that out of your mind. She's going to come in, play a cutthroat game, and slit everyone's throat.
Like it's a totally different thing when you're playing the game, though. You know what I mean? Like, you're at hour 9. There's 7 people left. You've been working with 3 of them. There's 3 others that you're less sure of, but you know, like, you can make a move and be safer. You don't know if any of the 3 are working with you or not. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to be able to jump that ship? And somebody who's naturally inclined to just trust is going to trust until it's too late.
Another thing, we'll be talking to her in just a few minutes. Reilly wanted to make a move against her alliance in the next vote, but she was cut the vote before she wanted to make a move. So timing is everything. So if she knows when to make the move and does it when her gut tells her, then go for it. But otherwise, like, the timing of everything can screw you up.
But to answer your question, Shay, her dad's not going to throw her to the wolves. He's 100% going to give her advice before entering this game. I'm sure he already has.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. I'm super excited. We're going to see what happens. Cannot wait.
Well, thank you for joining us, Shay. And we are going to move on to our next person.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right, we are going to be joined by a robbed queen from season number 2, Reilly. Come on in and join us.
Hey!
Yay! Yes, here you are.
Rocked Out Club.
Rocked Out Club. I mean, many people have joined you in that club. I can promise you that.
We've had a rock draw in every season. It's great.
We might actually have to do like a vote for president of the club or something. Yeah. So enough members.
There you go. You might have enough members for a whole tribe at some point.
Ooh, future season, rocked out versus winners.
Maybe.
I love it. I love that idea. I'm first in line.
You're first in line. Maybe. We're going to see. I always like ideas, but we're going to be talking with 2 cast members here with Reilly. First person we're going to be talking about is Kylie. Kylie is 24 years old and a technical recruiter.
Yes, I really loved Kylie's interview. I was all in. I even wrote in bold letters, like, I would love to work with her if I was on the season with her. I just loved her personality. And she definitely nailed it when she said that her biggest strength is that she's going to be able to build trust easily and have a big social game. And like I said, I felt like a fly to the spider's web. I was just like, yep, I'm in. Whatever you say, I'm in 100%. So I think she's definitely going to have a really good social game. It's going to take her really far. I think people are just going to want to strategize with her. I think she's going to have pretty strong ties with her tribe. And it's going to be interesting to see what she does with that, how many opportunities that she's going to take advantage of. I know that she talked about how she wants to be true and loyal to someone that she's working with. So she's probably going to be looking for her ride or die. But I also like the fact that she said, okay, once I have that trust with that person, I don't want to have to worry about them. And then just keep playing the game, kind of touch base real quick and say, all right, cool, we're on the same page. And then get back to maybe someone else that she's wanting to work with later down the line before she cuts them. So really excited to see her game. I think she's definitely going to make it past merge. She'll be the shock one for me if she doesn't make it to merge. And that's definitely maybe, rocked out or something like that. I'd be like, hey. But I think she's going to grab a hold of timing in the game really well. I think she's going to be able to find the right people to work with. It's just really going to come down to probably how her tribe does during challenges. If that's going to get her, it's going to risk her at tribal, or it's when they get down to merge, it's also probably going to come down to if she can pay attention to maybe where those advantages are, because I believe this is her first org, but I know she's been watching Survivor the last few years, so I'm excited to see how she does in this game.
Yeah, Kylie is a firecracker, and she might be new, but I think that she's someone who could come in brand new to this and take the whole thing. I think people are going to gravitate towards her.
Yes.
The only thing is she's a fast talker. I already mentioned a fast talker in Jon. Kylie is also a very fast talker, and I don't want her to get too ahead of herself. When asked if she would rather work with an alliance or work in voting blocks, she said voting blocks because she doesn't think she'll be loyal to anyone too long. So I found that interesting, and I like it because I want to see that cutthroat gameplay. Obviously, I hope she's smart enough to make people think that she's going to the end with them. I really think she's going to do well, as long as she's not too in your face and perceived as a threat straight out of the gate. So I want to see who she's going to align with and what game moves she has. I'm excited for this girl. I really think she has a shot. She really does.
Kylie was definitely another production fave. Loved her interview, her energy. She came through us because the specialist posted something either to Instagram or like we post on the Facebook pages, and she saw it and she was immediately like, I need to do this. Where do I sign up? Click the links. And I loved the energy and passion that she brought into it. I just think she will do well. And tagging on the comment of won't stick with people too long, it might be kind of like a Jackie game in season 2 where she knew she had to stick with these people to get her this far, and she realized maybe I won't get to the end with these people, and flopped. So I think she might have the good headspace to know when to make her moves where.
Yeah, I do think her gut instincts are going to be right on. So as long as she follows them, she'll be golden. She said she wants to bring the fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
that's her goal, like above all else. But I want her to keep the win in mind as well.
Yes.
I freaking love Kylie. I could not be happier that a person is on this cast. Hands down, my favorite by far. Her interview was fire. She's amazing. I think she's going to be able to rein people in, bring them on into her alliance, and then slowly decide and pick and choose who she's going to get rid of in this game. I think, as everyone said here, for a newbie player, high winner potential. I hope she comes through and wins the game, because I think she's going to surprise some people with how good she's going to be able to navigate through this entire game. Could not be more excited for a cast member. She's someone that I think you're going to see in the game as, like, on the screen, there she is. Okay, let's be best friends. Like, that's just the type of energy she has. And I think if she's able to get her number one and convince them that, okay, we're good, they're going to think that they're good. But then when she's going to know, hey, I have to turn on this person because I can't let them beat me, I think she's going to do fantastic, and I cannot wait to see it.
I'm a host, and I was like, can I align with you? Like,
right, exactly.
Immediately just like, all right, we're good. So how do we get rid of
100%?
Yeah, I hope that she doesn't fall into a little bit of what I did of getting too comfortable in a vote block where it's like, okay, do we do it one more time, or is this when I need to, pivot here? So it's easy to do, especially on a mini, and you're hours and hours in at this point, and you're just like, okay, brain is fried.
Word of advice from Britley: know when to pull the trigger, because timing is everything in this game. But I do think she'll know when to pull the trigger. She's a big fan, and I don't know, I can't pick anyone else that I think is going to beat her at this point.
You heard it here first. Lauren's winner pick.
Yeah, I'm pretty much Stan over here, so we'll see what happens. All right, next person we have on this cast that we're going to be talking about is Victoria, who's a 25-year-old student.
Yeah, so Victoria is really interesting in that I believe not only is she new to the org, but she's a completely new Survivor fan. Am I correct? Like she didn't start watching till recently?
So I'll give you a brief introduction on Victoria. She is a friend who I've had since middle school. So she knows that I'm a Survivor nerd, but I couldn't get her into it no matter how hard I tried. Pandemic hits, comes on Netflix. She's a Pandemic Survivor fan. So I had given her like a tier list of what to watch if you don't want to start from the beginning. And she's just kind of seen a bunch of random seasons, but to recall, oh, this person did this on that season, probably is not her strong suit.
No, that's pretty exciting that she's coming in with completely fresh eyes. And I think that's going to make her gameplay interesting to watch, to see how quickly she grasps onto a lot of what's going on, especially in a mini when it's really fast paced. I thought it was interesting when she said her strength and her weakness, it both is don't know what to expect. I think that's going to make her more adaptable. But also, I think what concerns me a little bit is that there's not really going to be a plan. I think it's just like kind of just going to be going in a little bit blind, which can hurt her in the long run. So I'm curious to see how that will go for her hand in hand, especially depending on what tribe she's on. If she's on a very strong tribe that they're just knocking out challenges left and right, winning them, no problem, then she'd probably coast to merge. And then we'll see, depending on what alliance she's with, if she's with majority, I could see her really clinging on to like the voting blocks maybe. But then again, if she's on a tribe that maybe isn't doing as well on challenges, and we see them a lot more at tribal councils, I am curious to see if maybe the pressure and the stress how she navigates that to stay in. And which, I believe that, the game doesn't end until your torch is snuffed. So I'm hoping to see her just, keep going until she gets voted out.
I'm really intrigued by her. I find her a bit mysterious.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, like, if I was playing in the game, I don't really know how I would take her. So
You don't like to work with women. So like you're automatically just gonna be like, no, where are the dudes at?
Don't be saying that, okay?
I was like the only person you aligned with that was a woman.
Well,
no, she aligned with Karen for a minute.
No, I want to see how she interacts with people. She does seem a little quieter than a lot of people that we do have on the cast. She did say the animal she would compare herself is a flamingo because she looks nice and friendly, but can be vicious if you get too close. She does not look vicious at all. I don't think this girl really has a vicious bone in her body. I would love to see it. Like, bring it, Victoria.
Looks can be deceiving. I've been on like the granted they were more playful, but I've been on the other end of attacks and stuff like that from her. So I think she's a definite wild card where it's like I can see her going far because I think she's able to make connections, but maybe she might be lacking in the strategy and like the know of the game. So that might be a hindrance. She came to me being like, yeah, I really would love to test, how I would do in a game of Survivor. And I was like, boy, do I have the thing for you. So
she said she doesn't want to appear to be the leader, but also doesn't want to blindly follow others. And I liked that a lot. She kind of reminds me of Serena from a previous season. I want to see if, if she is like her, because Serena was very quiet
Mhm.
and kind of in the background. And I do think Victoria may be like that. She said that she is good at connecting with people and being social. But I do think she's going to be a little quieter
Yeah.
than some
Yeah.
of these bubbly personalities we have.
Which
But
I think
that can really work to her advantage because
Yeah.
it can keep
Yeah.
that level off of her.
exactly.
She's middle of the vibes for me only because I don't necessarily have a complete read on her, which is sometimes good. And as you point out, mysterious because you're not really sure which type of player she's going to be. But I do think she's a gamer. And that's what I got out of her interview. I think she is here to play, but it's her figuring out what type of strategy she wants to implement within the game. So she's kind of in the middle for me. I think that she could bring a lot to the table, but I also think she could maybe run into trouble going up against people that have experience in this game, because people that do have experience know exactly what they need to in a fast-paced mini format.
I have started her watching. She's seen, I think, about half the episodes of Lalamana Beach. So she semi knows. I was walking her through, like, this is what we do. So she knows how our game works, but you never really know how the game works until you're in it.
Exactly.
That is true. That is true. I think she might be really good at gathering info too, because of how quiet and reserved she is. And so maybe that's going to be a good pairing with someone who is very in the forefront.
Maybe like a Kylie Victoria alliance.
I mean, you never know. So it's someone who's like at the forefront, very personable. People are like, yeah, I want to work with this person. And then they're able to send in, Victoria to kind of, collect the deets on people and bring it back to her. So,
Yeah, we're going to see. I think she has fight that she's going to be able to offer to the game, but it all depends on who you start on a tribe with, because it's a personality thing. And if you don't click with people, then you can be sent out the door.
yeah. And it's so important at the beginning on establishing some relationships with people, and really the first impressions is everything, especially in that first couple of hours of a mini, and whether or not people want to work with you or not.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Britley, for joining us. And it has been great. Loved hearing your takes. And we will move on to the next person.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we are going to bring in a very, very heavy hitter production member to talk about these next few people. And let's bring him on in, Mr. Alex.
Confessional King.
The King.
I am here. I'm
You
not
are.
here for season 4 production, but I am here to talk about certain cast members. I'm
Awesome.
ready.
You're ready? All right, let's get it rolling. We're going to start with our first one that you're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Caitlyn, who is 25 years old and is a house flipper. We have Jordyn, who's 24 years old and a pharmaceutical sales rep.
So she was someone who she is also one of the new players that we have on this season, one of several, which I love because it's not just diversity in that way, but diversity between org experienced and org rookies. Mm-hmm. And she's someone who's a lifelong Survivor fan. She saw the application through a post from one of our production members, Ian Moorhead. Her application was really fun for me. I like that she has self-awareness of her, not just her strengths, but of her faults. Because if you have awareness of what your faults are and can articulate about them, and she did, I think it allows you to be self-aware when the game goes on to be like, let me try to temper those urges. Like she said, sometimes it's easy for her to get frustrated. And she says she's definitely a pilot, a type A person, needs to be in control, controls what her friends and family can do sometimes. So if she can temper that like a tiny bit, it'd be helpful. But we've seen some people who can just dominate the screen, dominate the conversation, and they will still go far. Like we don't really see that many of them go out early. Mm-hmm. So I see her as definitely a post-merge potential player. Whether she can win or not, she's a rookie. We have no clue. We have no basis of what her game can be. But I'm high on her.
I don't have too much. I don't have a good read on Jordyn. She did say, like you said, that she's type A. That makes me a little bit worried for her. I do think she's going to be very competitive. but she said she wants to be in control. And it is good to be in control, but you have to make sure that no one else sees that you are. So I think if she can kind of slide in there and just keep, eyes off of her in that way, she'll be good. But I do not have a good read on Jordyn whatsoever. I don't.
Shocker, she has a bad read on a woman.
Come on, you guys. I didn't say it was a bad read. I said I don't have one.
Well, contrary to Dennie, Jordyn loves the female alliance, not saying all girl alliance, but she loved the Parv and Amanda alliance. So I think she might gravitate towards someone, one of the other girls on our cast, and try and form that tight bond with them, and then move forward and get the majority within their tribe. One thing that I'm worried about that you talked about, Alex, is she knows her weaknesses, and one of them is being a hothead. So I have my worries if her tribe has a member that it's completely messing up or blowing a challenge. It's happened in all of our seasons. There's been like that one person that has messed up a challenge for the entire tribe. If she has done her part already and is just like screaming at the screen or something like that, and like I worry about her for that reason if they wind up losing.
Well, we have someone in this room who is also extremely competitive. I'm not going to say she's a hothead. She's competitive. So Lauren, it seems like maybe like Jordyn is sort of, without the experience, she seems to have some similarities, I feel like, to you in some of your games you have played.
I think Jordyn's really compelling. I liked her interview. I think she's going to be very competitive, and I love competitive people. Mm-hmm. I think she's going to do well in challenges. I'm excited to watch her play. I can be a hothead too, but I agree with McKenna. If you yell and scream at someone in a challenge, it doesn't really work out too well for you. So Jordyn, hope you didn't do that on the season.
Yeah, like, to be fair, being frustrated and yelling is two different things.
Well,
like I think everyone, even people who get frustrated easily, none of these people on this cast are going to be people who in the challenge are going to be like hurt, like negatively yelling.
No,
I
just said that as like an exaggeration.
No, I know, but I was going with the exaggeration. I think you can read someone's facial expression. You can tell when someone's not happy. So if she can control her face, I think that'll be good.
Like, honestly though, there could be a benefit though in a mini to be a little more not withholding of your emotion, and like when people know where you stand, it comes off more genuine. And at the same time, even if you're you're an enemy, you at least know, okay, I know where she stands, but I don't know where X stands. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get you see it time and time again in Survivor where you keep the enemy that you know.
Yep.
Or the person that like you can rely on because you know their intentions, mm-hmm. and you get rid of the unknown variable. Yep. So I can, and like, yes, she wants her girl alliance, but I also feel like she's someone who can kick it with the guys as well. So if she feels like her bonding with the girls isn't working, I feel like she could switch ship pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, we're going to see. I think that she has really good upside to make it pretty far in the game. But at the same time, if she doesn't fully click with everyone, she could be going out early. So to me, I don't know. She's kind of a mixture for me, early or far.
I think she's going far.
We'll see.
That's what find out.
We're going to find out. But with that, we're going to jump into our next contestant. We have Michael, who is 21 years old and a computer science student. So very, very smart right there.
Yes. So I don't have as much information on Michael. All I truly got from it was that so he found our org through season 3 contestant Jay Milligan, and while Jay called himself a brawn, whether you want to call him that or not, Michael's very much saying, I am not a brawn whatsoever. I will suck at the challenges, but I'm here to try it and have fun, and I'm sarcastic and ready to have a good time. So I feel like there could be some self-deprecating humor in there. Having humor in these games, I think, is very helpful. And like when you're going to be so hard on strategy, and you're going to have people in this game that are strategy, no breaks. Like they're not like me. When I played, I didn't really care. My social game was my strategy. Like I pushed my strategy to be social. I don't think that's going to be the case with Michael. I think his social will be his social, and that maybe hopefully he comes off as likable to his tribe mates, and that's what keeps him along until he can get a solid footing with a potential alliance.
Yeah, I don't have too much to go off of on Michael either. He said that he thinks he'll play like Courtney, which how I don't
sound
know.
bites will be
I
great.
love
then.
it.
Do you want me to answer the question on how? Okay, so basically, Michael, how he was saying to us, I'm not going to let other people know how I feel about them in the game, but let it be known, I will tell you how I feel in my confessional, which makes me super excited because that's him having a good read. Hey, I'm not going to like express my true emotions to you guys, but I'm going to deliver it in a confessional. I think he's going to be really fun character on this season, and I hope that he sticks around long enough where we get that Courtney out of him.
Well, that's good. As someone who did the confessionals for the first 3 seasons, like that's what we're looking for. Like, yes, you're here to play the game. We also like to have the people that are there to play the game and also there to create good TV, good moments. And if you don't have to do it in front of your tribe mates. Like what people need to understand, it seems like Michael has a grasp of, is I can be nice to your face and then go straight to confessional and be like, y'all, these bitches be tripping, you know. Like just like cut. And I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I do think he does have that sense of humor because he said that he'll be able to create bonds, which is good because his twig arms are not going to be able to build a shelter. So I don't know how well he's going to do at challenges if they're physical. But yeah, I think I see him as like being sly.
Mm-hmm.
I think cute kid. I just wonder if his age is going to play a factor, and how the other castaways are going to view him. Like, are they going to trust him? Because I don't know that I would if I was playing a game with him.
Well, he said he's one of the only ones that was like, yes, I am a passenger, and didn't give a backup of I'm a passenger until I need to be the pilot. He was like, I'm a passenger. Let everyone else burn, and then I'll be good standing there. So like, I feel he is definitely here to play and be a character, be like a light kind of on the season where he'll have his strategy, and you might see something totally different in those scramble rooms, but in the edit of the episode, when you can see him like fully in his confessionals, I'm excited about it. He said his favorite tribe was the Goliath tribe because of Natalie Cole, Angelina. Like he loves all of those like hilarious, polarizing characters, and I hope he is one of them.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy him. He's young, but he's also self-aware, and I think he knows himself. Some people don't know themselves that well going into games, but I think he has his eye on the prize and wants to win this because he was so excited in his interview to play.
And that's important. And once, like I said with other castmates here, being self-aware of who you are is very hard, and so understanding it at this young age can only benefit Michael.
For sure.
All right. Thank you, Alex, for joining us. And so sad you cannot join us for the actual date of the mini, but thanks for giving us your takes on these couple of people. Lauren, close us out.
All right, guys. This season 4, Sahara Dunes, is going to be one for the books. It's a fire cast. I love them all. I'm excited to see everyone play. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. Stay tuned and keep watching.